everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing my Andrew Cutter Picks of the Weeks. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel and know nothing about this video series, basically what I do is I take a look at this week in DC Comics. Then I select the comic that I enjoyed the most and declare it my Andrew Cutter Pick of the Week. Now, if at any time during this video you want to see a review or more information on one of the comics that I talk about, well, don't worry, I did a review of each and every single one of them, so you can just go back, maybe a video or two in my channel, and check it out. In addition to that, I will talk about any news or updates pertaining to myself, my channel, or the world around me. And as you can see, I'm freshly out of the shower. I just went out for a nice good run. It's getting warm out, so might as well enjoy the weather while you can. One little side note is I forgot to pick up my All-Star Western number 10. Some people were thinking that I dropped it. I'm not dropping All-Star Western. It's the cornerstone to my diversity in comics, and I'll explain that after I do my Andrew Cutter Picks of the Weeks. But I did pick it up, and I did read it. I'll give a quick review right now, and then we'll jump into the what I loved most about this week, my Andrew Cutter Pick of the Week. All-Star Western, I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 5. Almost a 5 out of 5. The character that gets introduced, whose name still eludes me, I forget, the woman with the eye patch gets introduced. She's funny, she's quirky, she has a very damaged backstory that we don't know much about. I don't know if she was introduced previously in Jonah Hex, but I never read Jonah Hex before this. And her interactions with Jonah is really nice. We get to see more of the Court of Owls in this, which is also pretty cool. And the backup issue with Batlash is really fun and one of those great old school westerns. Bad, nothing really bad about this. All-Star Western continues to be one of the best of the New 52. And again, like I said, the cornerstone of my diversity in comics. Again, I'll go into that a bit later. So, in addition to All-Star Western, what did we get this week? We got Batman Inc. number 10. I think most of these are number 10s. Oh no, Batman Inc. number 2. Number 2. Jumped the gun on that. Batman the Dark Knight issue number 10. Superman issue number 10. Flash issue number 10. Aquaman issue number 10. Hawkman issue number 10. Again, a lot of these are number 10s. Green Lantern New Guardians issue number 10. Voodoo issue number 10. Blue Beetle, which was supposed to be last week, but I'll count it for this week, number 10. I, Vampire issue number 10. Justice League Dark number 10. Teen Titans number 10. We're almost at the end. Can you guess? Justice League number 10. And finally, Before Watchmen Night Owl issue 1 of 4. And of course, All-Star Western issue number 10. This week was a really good week. The interesting thing about this week is usually in the 4th week of the month, and I divide the month up into 4 weeks because most months have 4 weeks, some have more. But usually when I look at the 4th week, the all-star hitters are usually Flash and Aquaman, and those are the ones that usually take the Andrew Cutter Pick of the Week. But this week is actually a bit different. They were still good, Flash and Aquaman. But there's 3 comics that I felt, well, actually, how about let's just say 5 comics that I felt really were in contenders for the Andrew Cutter Picks of the Weeks. And one in particular stood out more than others. So let's talk about them. First is Justice League issue number 10. This was a great issue. Continues, I think, is going to be an interesting story arc and a new, different kind of story arc. We get to see a little bit more interactions with the Justice League, and that's what I like. Teen Titans issue number 10 was really fun, which is surprising because Teen Titans been kind of an up and down story. Scott Bledel needed to get back past the culling. And if you think about it, Teen Titans been the longest team coming together because although the team came together, they haven't really felt like a team. This feels like them sitting down and actually becoming a team. So that was on there. I, Vampire has consistently become just a gem of the DC universe and another cornerstone of my diversity in comics. Andrew Bennett continues to be a badass in this, and it sets up for what's going to be a fun story arc. Justice League Dark, just the character interactions in the story was just great. The usage of the House of Mystery and Secrets, I thought was just clever as all hell. And the story, using Felix Faust as a villain, just Really good. And finally, Batman Inc. Again, nice nods to continuity. Good story. It really did showcase Talia very nicely. It was a fun story. However, only one of these stories is going to come out on top. And that story would be, for my Andrew Cutter pick of the week, Justice League Dark issue number 10. I really love this team. I fall in love with it. And if you're not reading Justice League Dark right now, I almost pity you to an extent, because it really is such a different team, but it really is using all the fun stuff of the DC universe. If you look at the DC universe, you can kind of break it up into sections. You got the traditional superhero universe, which is like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Justice League, Teen Titans. Then you have the darker, not darker, but the more, I don't know, grounded universe, for lack of better terms. More on the edge kind of stuff. How DC likes to term it, with stuff like Grifter or GI Combat or Deathstroke, which are still very comic book with the superpowers or the aliens, but they're more guns shooting and on the edge. Or like All-Star Western is an example. And then you have the darker aspect of the DC universe, the magical aspect with Swamp Thing, Animal Man, I, Vampire, and Justice League Dark. And I think Justice League Dark is just taking that ball and rolling with it and going with it. And it's just, they're doing such a great job with this comic, and I highly recommend people pick it up, because it really has been fun. The most stable characters on this team have been Constantine, which someone has told me that's the pronunciation. You go with Constantine, not Constantine. Constantine, Zatanna, and Deadman, with Madame Xandu kind of in the background. But it really is a fun comic, so I recommend people pick it up and read it. When I was talking about, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my comics, and I might as well pull up my comic list right now just to let you know, because I might be dropping or adding comics, depending. When I was talking about the cornerstones of my diversity in comics, comics begin with a C. What am I doing? There we go. Boom. When I talk about diversity in comics, when the New 52 came out, and a lot of people know this, what I want to do is be more diverse in my reading. Instead of just the traditional superhero, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Flash, I want to try stuff different. Some stuff have worked out, some stuff not so much. Titles such as All-Star Western, Demon Knights, I, Vampire, Voodoo, comics that I never thought I was going to like beforehand, turned out to be really good. At the same time, there's been comics that I've read for the sake of trying things out new that I didn't like. Which, is bound to happen. But you never know if you're going to like something until you try it. So basically what I'm always going to guarantee you guys and to myself is I'm going to have comics in these categories. I'm going to have my traditional superhero comics, my Justice League comics, which, I'll tell you are like Justice League, Batman, Catwoman, the Batman family, basically. Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Hawkman, Teen Titans. The traditional superhero comics, I'm not going to go through all the comics I'm going to consistently read, but the traditional superhero comics. And then for the sake of diversity, I want to have always a comic set in the West. A Western comic. All-Star Western. I want a comic set, a horror story comic, so I'm going to go with Swamp Thing. I want a magical swords and sorcery comic, so no matter what, I'm going to have Demon Knights. I want a comic set in the dark of the universe, so I'm going to go with Justice League Dark or I, Vampire. I want to consistently have this diversity with the comics. So I'm not just getting the traditional, comic book superheroes. I'm getting also all these various different other characters. So if I want to sit down, if I want to have a good Western story, I pick up All-Star Western. If I want to sit down and I want to read about dragons and swords and Dungeons and Dragons, you like that, don't you? I read Demon Knights, or maybe even what is it, Amethyst, when that comes out, which is Swords of Sorcery. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna try to be more and more diverse when it comes down to my stuff. When it comes down to things that I'm adding or dropping, I have made the decision that I am going to be dropping Stonewatch. So Stonewatch, bye-bye. It's a good comic, but there's other things that I'd rather be reading right now. I love John Jones. I like Apollo and Midnighter, but there's other things that I could be writing in place of it. Green Arrow is another comic. Green Arrow, I'm so on the edge of dropping, and if I drop Green Arrow, that means I might pick up another comic in its place. But Green Arrow is on the chopping block. I'm 90% sure I'm gonna drop it. I might give the next issue a chance, but if Green Arrow's out of here, maybe I'll pick something else up. I will see. I'm I'm picking up a lot of comics as it is, so never know. And the thing is, it's just not that hard to do Green Arrow comic. I think they just need to get the right writer on it. And it's not to say that the writers that have been doing Green Arrow have been doing a bad job. Dan Jurgens, who I think did Green Arrow in the first few issues, those were fun issues. Were they perfect? No, but they were fun. I enjoyed them. But I think you need the right writer who can understand Green Arrow. Sorry, I just was looking for my phone. It's kind of like you don't put. I don't know. We'll take for example, Gal Simone's really great with Wonder Woman. Really great with Barbara Gordon, but I really don't think I would want her on Green Lantern. Not to say she's a bad writer; she's a fantastic writer, but that's not her forte. Um, Scott Snyder right now is knocking out of the ballpark with Batman, but I would be a little unsure if he jumped onto Stormwatch. I mean, it's not to say that they can't work those, but certain writers are more akin to certain characters. They just know those characters. It's like James Robinson was saying once, I know how to write the Shade. It feels natural to me. And any writer can write anything and be good at it, but again, I think certain writers are better at certain characters than others. So I think if there was someone that was going to go on to Green Arrow, right now, I mean, the two people that come to mind that recently did Green Arrow over the past, 10 years, were Kevin Smith and Judd Winnick. And I wouldn't be opposed to either of them jumping on and doing Green Arrow right now. Uh, they know the character. It might be a safe move to do, but still, they know the character and they'd be able to do it. You know who I would really like to see on Green Arrow, and this is way out in left field or right field or some field, um, would be Grant Morrison. I would be interested in Grant Morrison's take on Green Arrow. I know Grant Morrison is currently doing Batman Inc. and Action Comics, but who's to say he can't do Green Arrow? I mean, Scott Lobdell's doing 4 titles now. Which brings me to, let's talk about a little bit Scott Lobdell. I'm going to talk a little bit about Scott Lobdell and how I feel about him as a writer, and then I'm going to talk about him on Superman, because now he's jumping on Superman. So Scott Lobdell, I never had any exposure to him before the New 52, at least not in my, I mean, never before. Let's just say that. And one person that used to work at my comic shop said that Scott Lobdell is okay at keeping the status quo. He worked on X-Men, I think, for a while. I could be wrong. I should probably do my research. I worked on X-Men for a while, and he kept the status quo. He didn't really do anything inventive. He just kept it the way it was. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't even know if he worked on X-Men. I'm saying what I heard, okay? If I'm wrong, please correct me. Since he's come to the New 52 and he had Red Hood and the Outlaws, Teen Titans, and Superboy, I feel as though his quality of work has been kind of up and down for me. Definitely his high points have been Red Hood and the Outlaws. The comic started off rocky, for lack of a better term, with all the controversy, which wasn't really that controversial in the end, especially if you continue to read. And Red Hood and the Outlaws has turned out to be one of my favorite Bat books to pick up. Superboy started off good, but it's kind of fallen apart. It's not quite as fun anymore. And then vice versa. Teen Titans started off as kind of rocky, but now it's getting better. So I think Scott Lobdell has a lot of good ideas. I think he's on a whole a good writer. He has what it takes to tell good stories. And you know what I think I like about Scott Lobdell that I've been noticing? That is opposite to what the guy that I talked to in the comic store is that Scott Lobdell's not afraid of taking chances. And that's why I think it'll be interesting on him jumping onto Superman. Because if you look at the Justice League books, the main titles for each character for the Justice League that spawns out of the Justice League, you got Batman with Scott Snyder, Brian Azzarello on Wonder Woman, Francis Manapul on and Brian Buscetta, is that how you pronounce his name, on Flash? Aquaman has Jeff Johns, Green Lantern has Jeff Johns, and then you have Superman that's had George Perez, Dan Jurgens, and is Kyle Higgins currently on it? I'm gonna double check that. because no, just Dance Jurgens. I thought for some reason Kyle Higgins was on it, but and if you look at all the titles, everything but Superman has been 5-star work. I mean, it's had it up and downs, but it's been great stuff. But Superman, ironically, the most iconic superhero of all time, hasn't really been pushing out the best stuff. He's kind of been meh. So I think having Scott Lobdell jump on the title would be a good idea. It mixes things up, and for all we know, it could make Superman better. What do I want to see from Scott Lobdell jumping onto Superman? I want to see him use some traditional Superman villains, but bring them into a new light. I wouldn't mind seeing him using Bizarro or Parasect or, well, Metallo's being used in Action Comics, and so is Lex Luthor to an extent, but taking some traditional Superman villains and using them. Bring Maxima in, or Mongrel, or even I know Lobo's being used in Deathstroke, but even having Lobo jump on would be cool. Uh, so I would like him to take those characters and do kind of a new twist on them. Right now he's doing a story arc in Red Hood and the Outlaws, which is kind of a revamp of a new Teen Titans story arc, which dealt with Blackfire. I would be interested in if he did a War World story arc dealing with Maxima and dealing with Mongrel and seeing what goes on there and just doing a new take on it. Because in my mind, with the exception of the Batman stuff, everything in the DC universe is in year 5. It's not in year 10, which it usually is. So stories haven't been told. The reason why I've been okay with Superman and Lois Lane not being together, well, Freudian slip there. Superman and Lois Lane not being together is the fact that they didn't get together in year 5. They got together in year 7 or something of their life. They didn't get together yet. It hasn't happened. Same with Iris West and Barry Allen. We're telling fresh new takes on these stories. So why not tell fresh new take on Superman with Scott Lobdell? Batman's a different story. Although Batman's only been around for 10 years, most of his stuff has been told in one way or another. Nightfall has been told, Year One, Long Halloween, his adventures with the various different Robins, his return from the Omega Sanction, all that stuff has been told. So I'm interested to see what goes on with Scott Lobdell on Batman. And yeah, you know what I'm also interested in? I'm interested in the issue zeros for DC Comics. I'm kind of going on a little bit of a jumping from topic to topic, but uh, telling the origins or telling various different revamps, for lack of a better term, of the origins will be interesting. Scott Snyder, along with Greg Hertz and Peter Tomasi, said that they're not touching year 1 for Batman, but they're adding to it. Like, year 1 is still 100% canon, but they're giving a little bit different take on what happened in between year 1 and stuff. And I'm interested to see, is George Perez run on Wonder Woman still canon? It looks like Wonder Woman has been slimmed down a bit, but how much of God's Immortal is still around? Superman's origin, it's been done in Action Comics. But for example, did Flash die? Did Barry Allen ever die? I don't think he did. I don't think the Crisis on Infinite Earth ever happened. A Crisis did, but I don't think Crisis on Infinite Earth did. So I don't think Barry ever died. I don't think Wally's even around. I think he's going to be reintroduced as a totally new character. Has Hal Jordan died? Did he ever? I mean, he became Parallax, but did he die? What's the circumstances of a Kyle Rayner becoming Green Lantern? I mean, this is all stuff that needs to be answered. Because I don't ever think the Justice League members ever died, with the exception of Superman, because the Justice League has stated that no one ever has entered the Justice League other than the original 7. So that means Wally never joined the Justice League. That means Kyle never joined the Justice League. So does that mean, if Hal and Barry died, they just went without them and didn't induct anyone else? These are questions that I think the issue zeros might deal with, might handle. Whew, kind of went on a little rant there. I don't know if a rant is a bad thing, but hey, whatever. What else is going on? Video game wise, not much has been going on. I beat Pikmin 1. I'm currently playing Pikmin 2. I have it about 50% done. I got most of the money that I need. Well, 50% of the money that I need. I've just picked up Mario Kart DS. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart 7. I said, you know what, I want to pick up all the Mario Kart games. So I picked up Mario Kart DS. Good game, but it's tough to go from 7 back to DS because 7 is, I think, pound for pound up there as one of my favorite Mario Karts. So that's been going on in video games. Super Smash Bros. Brawl is going to have Namco and Bandai jump on it and work with the creator of Brawl, which poses some questions. What characters from Namco and Bandai could be joining on Brawl? Will we be seeing Pac-Man? Will we be seeing Dragon Ball Z characters? Digimon? Will we be seeing Soul Calibur characters? Because that's Namco, isn't it? Um, it's going to be interesting with Brawl and what's going to happen. Not Brawl, but Super Smash Bros. I'm more interested to hear what the name's going to be. We had Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. What's the next one? Super Smash Bros. Like Assault and Battery. But I'm interested to see because what if Brawl becomes like a manga, or what is it called? Know how they had those Marvel vs. Capcom games and they kept on adding characters on like emulators and stuff like that? Mugen, I think it's called. What if Brawl becomes that, where it has not just Nintendo characters, but characters from other franchises, maybe even television shows? How freaking awesome would it be to have War Greymon and Goku fight Link and Samus? Or let's say Sophitia or Ivy from Soul Calibur take on Donkey Kong or Pikachu. Uh, who wouldn't want to see Charizard versus War Greymon? The ultimate Digimon versus Pokemon. It would be really fun. Be interesting. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think they're going to take some characters like that? Are they going to stick to just video game characters, or would you be surprised? I mean, do you think it'd be possible they could pull out like a Dragon Ball Z character? Um, who knows? Well, what would their final flash be? Would Goku's be like he turns Super Saiyan and shoot like a Kamehameha, or would he turn into the big giant ape? Or uh, again, it's very interesting stuff. So video games are going to be very interesting coming up, definitely. So yes, that Kirby collection is coming out too. Continuing video game talk, Kirby's All Star Dream something with coolness stuff on it. Yes, I'll look it up right now, but I'll just jump over to. I know IGN has it, but yeah, apparently the new Kirby collection has been announced, and it's going to have 6 Kirby games. I know the original and the 64 one are definites, but if you just let me jump over to the Wii section, I'll just use IGN because IGN the Dream Collection. There we go. That's what it's called. I'll just use IGN because it's the one that's most likely is going to have the information. Okay, it is going to have, and they didn't give me information. Oh, well, sorry. Oh, here we go. Kirby's Dream Land, Dreamland 2, both from the Game Boy. Kirby's Adventure from NES. Kirby's Dream Land 3 and Superstar from SNES. And then Kirby 64 Crystal Shards. So that I am looking forward to. I love when Nintendo do collections like that. The Zelda Collector's Edition. With Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda, Adventure of Link, and Majora's Mask is one of my favorite collected things. The Samurai Showdown collection was awesome. Love that. That wasn't just Nintendo, but as an example, the Sonic Mega Collection, Gem Collection, and who can forget the biggest collection of them all, Mario All Stars. I loved collected games. Mega Man Anniversary Collection is another one. Collected games kick ass because it allows you to get gold games on new consoles and not have to fish around for old games. And talking about games, you know what I find interesting? You know what has made a huge resurgence is Super Nintendo. The SNES is huge with people now. People want the SNES and they want to buy it and play it whenever they can, which I find interesting. My friend kind of just gave me his SNES, but they go for a lot of money, and at my comic store, the guy, he can't keep them on the shelves. They just keep on coming off. So, yeah. A question was posed. How do I get my reviews up of my comic books so quickly? Here's the reasoning, and I kind of gave the answer in the comment section, is that one of the perks of me working at the comic store is, what you guys may or may not know, is comics are shipped early. So comic stores traditionally get comics the day beforehand. They just can't sell the comics at all. So what we do is we get the comics, we put them in the boxes, and then we put them on the shelves, but you can't buy them. They're covered up. You don't even know they're there until Wednesday. One of the perks of me is I get to read my comics early, have them set, then I can just do the review up. So that's why I get my comic reviews up so early, is because I get to read them a day beforehand. Pretty awesome. Just one of the perks. You know, you can't buy the stuff, but they're there. It's so yeah. Hey, that's why I get my reviews up a little bit early. One of the perks of the comic shop. I just sit there, read it, and then next day I'll put the video up. So yeah, that's the reason why I can get my reviews up a little bit early. It is not only a perk for me, but a perk for you. So then you don't have to wait till God knows when to get a review on X Comics. So there you go. Anything else going on? I felt like I had more to say, but now my mind has gone blank. Have you ever done that? Like you have all this stuff that you want to say, and your mind kind of just goes blank. I've been, every week I've been picking up Pokemon cards quite a bit. I might as well show that off. I did like a year ago a video on Pokemon cards, and I have one deck and then a shitload of my binder, and then if you look up there, there's a stack of cards. I have I call my special sweeping Charizard deck, which I might as well just show to you. It's all based around this card right here, which is this Charizard card. Burning Tail and Fire Wing, and he does 140 life, but his fire formation is what makes him good. Each attack Charizard does 10 more for each fire Pokemon on your bench. So if you have 5 fire Pokemon on your bench, then instead of for 1 fire energy 30, it does 80, and then this does, 130. And then, in addition to Charizard, I have, the Charmeleons and Charmanders. And the advantage to the Charmander is you can do Call a Friend and search for a basic fire type. Then I have Ninetales right here, which allows me to continue to draw cards, 3 cards, I believe, for discarding a fire energy, which is great. Flareon, just to have another fire type on there. And the main reason why I have Flareon is so I can have Eevee, so I can use Call a Friend to get the Charmander out. And then I have a bunch of supporters like Professor Oak, Professor Jupiter, Bebe Search, which allows me to draw cards, and Pokemon Communication, Energy Retrieval to get me those energies back. And I found that I can demolish people with this deck. It's undefeated so far. And I've beaten people in such short amount of time because I've gotten Charizards out, like 3 Charizards out, and I can do like 80 damage off one energy. And then I do have my binder here, which all has my various different Pokemon cards, and I even have the original Charizard, as you can see there, first edition base set Charizard, and I got it for $3 from my comic store. So yeah, I have all my cards in here, which is cool. So I've been picking them up. I know this is kind of random, but I just felt like sharing it because today I went out and I got a pack that had a promo Pikachu on it, and then in it I got an Arceus and Dragonite and a couple of other stuff that were really pretty. The cool thing about Pokemon is that it's a very casual card game. I don't have to go crazy in it. I have played Magic before, and I was obsessed with Magic, and I might as well show you what I have left in my Magic cards. I was obsessed with Magic. Obsessed with it. And let me just pull this out. Again, kind of random stuff I'm going to talk about today. I collected from age 14 to 19, roughly. Come on, there you go. And I sold all my cards eventually, except for a few. I had a lot of rare cards, and I entered a lot of tournaments. I was good. Not to sound cocky, but I was good. And the only cards that I still have are my White Control deck, which had a lot of fun cards in here. Northern Paladin. You're probably saying, why do you have Northern Paladin? Well, he can destroy a target black permanent, and then I just whip out something like Distortion Lens, which allows me to change the color of any permanent in play, so I can just destroy things like crazy. And this deck had stuff like Chomana's Blessing, which just screws people over, and Abeyance, which was a great card that really disrupts counter spells and almost anything. I had Sarah Avatars just for fun. Platinum Angels. This was nearly undefeated. Nearly undefeated. My friend's counterspell white deck, and then another kid I know had what is it called? He had bloody hell, what is it called? A Power 9 deck, which beat me in like 2 turns. It's Power 9. What are you gonna do? And of the cards I still have left, I kept some of my cards that I like the most, like Ornithopters. God love those. Eastern Paladins, Southern Paladins, Sarah's Advocate, Sarah's Advocate, Static Orbs, Wrath Dragon, original Shivan Dragon. Uh, but I sold most of my cards to my buddy for like a couple $100 because it was after Comic-Con too that I sold it to him. But Magic was a good game. But you know, if you do a comparison between Magic and what is it called? Magic and Pokemon. Magic is more of a hardcore game where Pokemon is relaxing. I don't have to worry about going out and consistently picking up stuff like I did with Magic. So, kind of went on a side tangent about the card thing. Sorry if you don't care about cards, but it was just kind of on my mind, and I have all this money here I've been saving up from my comic store. Should probably put this aside and save it up. Actually, I owe my fiance like $50 for a present we had to get for a wedding. But yeah, is there anything else? No, that's it. I think I shall end this video here. Because I got some stuff I gotta do. And I have cry tonight. So I shall end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out. Oh! Before I end it, my actual Facebook, the Andrew Shelton Facebook, is down there. I'm not using Andrew Cutter Facebook anymore. The reason why is because I never go on it. But the Andrew Shelton one, I do. So you can check it out. It's down there. And add me if you like. So I will end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.